Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are starting with example 2 in the last section of chapter 4, 4.6. And in 4.6 we're applying the exponent laws that we've looked at a little bit in grade 9 and we're continuing to use here in our Math 10 course. So right here we have x cubed y squared, and that's all multiplied by x squared y to the power of -4. So what we do in this example is we want to combine the bases that are the same, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you this step by step on how to do this process, just to make sure we get a clear understanding on what is happening. All right, so this is going to be equal to, get our formatting set up here. All right, here we are. So this is going to be equal to, and what this means is it's just all multiplication. So we have x cubed, and that's being multiplied by y squared, which is being multiplied by x squared, which is being multiplied by y to the power -4. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rearrange this in, because we know the order in which we multiply does not matter. We'll organize this. We'll put the x's together. So we'll basically just rearrange this. Okay. So I put the x's together and the y's together. And remember, when the bases are the same and you are multiplying, we use the law of product of powers. So we keep the base and add the exponents. Remember, you can't. That's why I group them in the x's and the y's here, because the x's go together and the y's go together. Okay. So that'll be our next line. So the base stays the same, and we add the exponents. Y, the base stays the same, and we add the exponent. So adding a negative, essentially going to be subtracting here. Okay? All right, and we know that 3 plus 2 is 5. And we know that 2 plus -4 is actually -2. So this is what we get when we have the apply the power rule. But remember, we don't leave it as a negative exponent, so we want to write this as a positive exponent. So this would be the same as saying this is equal to, remember, this would be 1 over y squared. So I'm going to do this again step by step. Some of these steps you'll be able to, let's say, skip once you get the hang of this a little better. Like this one, for example, maybe. And then we can write this as a quotient. So right, and we divide that. So that goes in there. Sorry about that. Put the wrong button there. Okay. Y squared. So the final answer, simplified, is x to the power of 5 divided by y squared. And there's your final answer. Okay, you cannot simplify that anymore. That's it. All right. The next one we're going to do is we can see that we have a fraction here. So this is the quotient law, as you guys are aware. So the quotient law. So this is going to be equal to, and again we do the same thing as we did before. When you divide, like multiplying, when you multiply you add exponents. When you divide, you subtract exponents. But remember that they have to be grouped into the right basis. So 10 divides by 2, the a to the power of 5 divides by a squared, and then the b cubed divides by b to the -6. So I'm going to separate that and show that how that step, same as I did in the last example. So we have 10 over 2. They'll be grouped together, right? Because they're the same. They're both constants. And then the a's have the same base, so we'll group those together. And we get a to the power of 5 divided by a to the power of 2. Okay. And then we have the same thing here. B, oh, I forgot to cube that. Let's cube that now. B cubed over b to the negative 2. So again, this step you might be able to start to skip as you get a little more comfortable with this, but for now we want to show each individual step as we go. Okay. So the 10 divides by the 2 and gives you 5. You guys are aware. Okay. And then remember, when we're dividing, the base stays the same when we subtract exponents. So this will become a to the 5 minus 2. Base are the same. Keep the base. Subtract the exponents for division. And then the same thing here with the b. So the b becomes 3 minus a negative 2. Be careful with that, because when we subtract a negative, we add the opposite, right? So it ends up being plus that, okay? So just be careful there. So this is going to be equal to, we'll do the steps on this, so it'll be 5, a, oh, wrong one there, not a radical sign, obviously, sorry about that. A to the power of 3, because 5 subtracted is 3, and then b to the power of 3 plus 2, right? Okay, 3 plus 2. Which is 5. So the final simplified answer is 5a cubed b to the power of 5. And then we're finished with that one. Let's, then there's a check your understanding. You guys can work on that. There are the answers for the A and B. Bottom of your page there. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to example 3. Simplify algebraic expressions with rational exponents, and then simplify. Okay. Alright, so the first one here, we have 8 a cubed b to the power 6 all to the 1/3. So all to the 1/3 indicates that each of the coefficients and the bases will get that. So we know we have 3 different things here. We have a constant, we have an a variable and a b variable. So the 1/3 has to be applied to each of those. So I'm going to show them in each individual step just to make sure we got a handle on that. Okay. When we do that, we get 8 to the 1/3 a raised to the power 3 to the 1/3 b. So this is called power of a power. So this is where you multiply the exponents. Alright, so you can either plug that in your calculator, or if you want to show this, what I like to do with this one here is, well, we know that 8 is equal to 2 cubed. And then that's it, all gets raised to the power, oh, sorry. And that all gets raised to the power of 1/3. So you can make that adjustment there as you're working. You don't have to, but you can, or you can plug it in the calculator, it's up to you. So a would be 3, remember we multiply the, by a fraction, we multiply the numerator, so it'll be 3 times 1, so this ends up being actually, being 3 divided by 3. The exponent, and then this one actually becomes 6 divided by 3. Okay? Again, some of these steps, as you get comfortable with these, you'll be able to, not skip the step, but you'll be able to just see what that happens. So 2 to the 3 to the 1/3, that actually becomes 2. Exponent here, becomes 2 to the 3 over 3, right? Oh. 2 to the 3 over 3. Right, and then that's obviously 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1, this is 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So they gave us some nice numbers. Right. And then 3 to 3 is obviously to the power of 1. And you guys remember that if we have an exponent in 1, we don't have to write it. We said to be there. So you can just write this as 2ab squared. That's your final. 2ab squared. Okay? Remember the b squared, not the a. Let's look at example b. So it says, this is similar to the one we did in 2a. So I like to group these all together. And then what we'll do is we'll add the exponents where necessary. Okay? So this can be rewritten as, so we just show with the multiplication here. And then what we'll do is we'll group the x's together and the y's together. So when we do that, get rid of this y squared put here, right? So we just group them. There we go, group them together. And when the bases are the same, we can now add the exponents. So you're going to use product of the power law. All right. So copy this. And bases are the same. Keep the base. Add the exponent. Same here. Keep the base. Oh, keep the base. Oh. Why that got there? I'm sorry about that. Keep the base. Add the exponents. So it's plus a -1, which is essentially subtract 1. Copy. So add these together, you get 4/2. 3/2 plus 1/2 is 4/2. And I know that can be simplified to 2, but we'll just take our time with that. And then 2 subtract, or 2 plus -1 is actually 2 subtract 1. Again, I'm showing multiple steps here. As you get the hang of these, you can skip some of these steps. So that's the 2, and that's to the power of 1. And then our final line, we can eliminate the dot in between showing the multiplication. And remember, is if your exponent is 1, you don't have to show it. You can, but you don't have to. You normally would just show it as y. So that'll simplify down to x squared y. Okay. I think that's it for this video. That's all we have time for. So in the next video, we'll finish off the chapter by doing examples 3, C, and D, and then example 4. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again in the last video of chapter 4 next. Thank you very much. Talk again soon.